But joining us now to start things off on this very exciting Friday is a fantastic actress and really an amazing woman when you learn her life story and everything that she's been through and the progression that she has made. Her story arc is really remarkable, and I'm so proud to have her on the show tonight. Her name is Janine Turner, and she's joining us now live from Texas. Janine, thanks for being here tonight.
Howdy, how you doing?
Howdy, is that like as soon as you're a Texas resident, is that like a prerequisite? Is it a law there? You have to greet me with howdy?
Yeah, I like the word howdy. It's just so Texas. Of course, at Texas A&M, when you walk around, they'll go howdy, 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 howdy. But it's just kind of my signature.
Now wait a minute.
Howdy.
Are you? So you're an Aggie? Is that right? Or is that official now?
No,
Oh, all right.
no, not an Aggie. But I went to visit with a friend of mine who's an Aggie. My nephew's getting ready to go to Texas A&M, and when we visited the campus, they told me past somebody, they go howdy.
Does the president?
That's awesome. Well, I was actually going to introduce you as Juliet Turner's mom. Because I've been watching some of the videos of her that you feature at JanineTurner.com, and she's got really an amazing voice. How old is that girl?
She is 13.
Oh, my goodness. She has got a powerful voice on her. Were you a singer when you were growing up too, Janine?
Yes, I was a different type of singer. I was trained Broadway, sort of. I always wanted to go star on Broadway.
Really?
But she just sort of has this kind of natural poppy, Fergie, Nora Jones type of voice. I mean, when we recorded that album, she was 11, so it was kind of wild.
That is phenomenal. And, well, listen, she's got a great role model and a mom for you, that's for sure. So I'm sure that if she does want to get into the entertainment business, you'll be able to show her the ropes. We've got you on tonight because I'm so excited for you. You just debuted your brand new Saturday radio show over there in Dallas at KLIF, right? KLIF at 5:70 a.m. out of Texas. Last week you debuted with some pretty hard-hitting guests. Who were your guests last week?
My guests were Carl Rove and Andrew Breitbart.
Unbelievable. That's a great way to launch a show. And then you have to follow it up. Here's the thing. I was assuming the program director was like, well, Janine, that was great, but you shot your wad on your very first show. What are you going to do next week? And here you go. Tomorrow, you're going to have Michelle Bachmann and your old co-star from Northern Exposure, Rob Morrow. This is fantastic.
Oh, I'm having so much fun. It's a really great experience. I've wanted to do radio for quite a few years, and my mother said to me at Christmas time, she goes, well, just do your own. And I thought, all right, I will. So I started a blog on my website, JanineTurner.com, and started interviewing people and had all these podcasts up. And then someone locally heard it at KLIF, and so I sort of use that Field of Dreams line, if you build it, they will come, so it's exciting.
I know exactly what you're talking about, trust me. And I love the fact that you're sort of marrying the entertainment world that you come from with the political world, and that's something that we try to do here. And as you know from talking to Andrew Breitbart last week and any other time that you have, he strongly believes that the culture, especially the mainstream culture that comes out of Hollywood and from the entertainment industry, is really a driving factor in what happens in Washington, frankly. Really, politics follows what happens in the mainstream culture, so it's great that you're able to marry those two things. Is that something that you want to achieve with your radio show, to sort of combine the two worlds and see how they can affect each other?
Absolutely. About 2.5, 3 years ago, a few things happened that sort of changed my life. One, the spiraling debt. Really started to worry about our republic. Number two, I read the book The 5,000-Year Leap. And then number three, I kept hearing about the cultural elite, that the liberal press, the liberals were the cultural elite. And that just really bothered me a lot. And I picked up the phone and called my good friend Kathy Gillespie, and I said, wait a minute, we got to do something about this. So we launched my foundation, Constituting America, and to educate citizens and students about the United States Constitution. And we have different tiers. We have great Federalist paper and Constitution studies for adults, and then for kids we have this fabulous contest. But with a 501c3, I have to be nonpartisan, and I think when we're trying to educate about the Constitution, that's the way it should be, because the Constitution's for, every spectrum, liberal, Democrat, libertarian, independent, Republican. It doesn't matter. Everyone should should have a knowledge of the Constitution. So then I decided to branch off to radio, though, because in radio I could actually express my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You're limited with 501c3, so that's why I decided to branch out to radio.
Well, I got to tell you, I am beside myself. I mean, and we have a late night show here, and whenever I've got what I like to refer to as a hot conservative babe on the show, and you certainly do fall into that category. I'm usually, I'm an animal. I really am. I got to be honest with you. Just think Howard Stern, but a little less restrained, Janine. And so I'm like, you are a gorgeous woman. You're telling me that you sing Broadway show tunes, which is my life. And here you're quoting the Federalist Papers. You are the complete and total package. Janine, will you marry me?
Oh, sure. You going to move to Texas?
Well, that's the easy part. It's my wife and 4 kids that might be a problem. So, all right. Let's just. But I appreciate you being so game. I'm going to file this away, Janine. I'm just going to say I'm going to put this on the back burner. We'll address it later. So yeah, I'm very excited.
I live on my ranch with my longhorn cattle, and if you don't mind shoveling stalls with me, and getting chased by longhorns, then come on down.
Are you kidding me? Listen, at my age and after having 4 kids, shoveling manure on a ranch is actually better than sex. So I'm all over it, Janine. Don't you worry about it. So talk to me about having Rob Morrow on the show. I'm from that era. I loved Northern Exposure. I loved having the show. Have you two been able to maintain a good friendship all these years and have been able to stay close? You had such great chemistry on the air. You must have. I mean, the chemistry was so great between you two.
It's interesting. We'll go years and we won't even see each other, and then we see each other, and it's as if nothing has changed. And when you work that closely with somebody for so many years, I mean, you know how it is, 18-hour days, 20, long hours, and you get to know them. You have sort of a relationship with them that's so different and intimate, and so we really did sort of have this sort of Maggie O'Connell-Fleischman rapport, and so every time I see him, it's just we're sort of back to square one. So I'm really pleased that he's coming, and we can exchange some of our favorite memories about Northern Exposure.
Now, when you bring him on the show, or when you bring other actors on the show, do you sort of talk to them up front and say, "Listen, if you want to just talk about the business and showbiz stories, we can do that. But if you want to talk about politics, we can get into that too." Do you sort of leave it to them?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, this is my second show. Is tomorrow night, and so he's my first real actor. So I'm going to have a conversation with him tomorrow and say, "Do you want to talk about politics or not?" And I'll leave it up to him.
Oh, that's cool. All right. And I know, John Corbett, of course, was on the show, and everybody knows that John Corbett is now the steady squeeze of Bo Derek. So I've got to assume that those two, Bo Derek is way out there with her politics. It would be great. You should try to get those two on the show as well, and you can kind of hit all the corners.
Yes, well, I was texting back and forth with John Corbett a while back, and now I can't get a hold of him. So as soon as I can get a hold of him again, I would love to have both him and Bo Derek on their show. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's definitely a plan.
My wife was a huge fan of Sex and the City and was in love with John Corbett's character on when he did that year and a half on Sex and the City. And so I let her know. I said, he's dating Bo Derek, and Bo's pretty conservative. I think John might be conservative. And for a moment there, I thought I had lost my wife. I thought that right there, she had just said that I sealed the deal, because she sort of discounts a lot of the actors that she loves because she just assumes they're crazy left-wing actors. And I'm not trying to. I don't know about John Corbett. I'm just thinking if you score Bo Derek, you better be in line with her politics as well.
Exactly. I really don't know, but I imagine he's pretty conservative.
Yeah. Well, I gotta think you must have had a great time doing that show, especially working with the great John Cullum. Considering you grew up wanting to be on Broadway, he's a Broadway legend. Did you guys spend a lot of time off screen, sort of? You were asking him about what it was like on Broadway and trying to pursue that life.
Yes, I first, my love of the Founding Fathers started when I was in 3rd grade. I don't know why. I asked my father, who's a West Point Military Academy graduate, I said, Dad, what would our Founding Fathers think if they were to come back today? I have this weird sort of fascination about our Founding Fathers watching us from heaven and what they think of us today. And my father looked at me and he said, well, I said, what would they be most disappointed about? And he looked at me and thought about it for a minute and said, taxes. But anyway, in 5th grade, we did the play 1776, and I played Martha Jefferson, and we took a field trip to see the musical 1776. And there's John Cullum, right, singing that song, "Molasses, the place to run." Yeah, I mean, he was so amazing. And then he and I worked together in what was that show? Quantum Leap. We did a Quantum Leap together.
Oh, all right.
And because he was doing Man of La Mancha. But actually, I spoke with him last night because I was trying to get him to come on the show, too. He's doing Shakespeare in the Park this summer.
Wow, good for him. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you played Martha. Can you? I mean, just to indulge me. Usually, I ask the hot conservative babes on the show what they're wearing. But now that I know that you played Martha Jefferson, could you just sing a couple of bars of "He Plays the Violin" for me?
Sure. Okay.
Oh, wow.
He plays the violin. He tucks it right under his chin.
Oh,
and he bows, yes, he bows. For he knows, yes, he knows, that it's high, 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 diddle, diddle, twixt my heart, Tom, and his fiddle, and
oh, God, don't stop.
I think I'm a little too low there. I should have got a little higher.
That is brilliant. No, that was actually the very sultry key for late night. I loved it. Wow, you are incredible, Janine. No idea. You've got now. Have you gone back to musical theater? Seriously, I'm I worked for 20 years in the Broadway theater. This is my obsession. You've got to do a Broadway show, Janine. Can I produce it?
Yes, would you produce it? And I have a great idea of a show I want to do. It's the first woman to ever run for president in, what was the year? 18? I forgot the year all of a sudden. I wrote about her in my book, Holding Her Head High. Belva Lockwood.
Cool. It sounds good to me, although I'm not thrilled with you wearing 19th century costumes. If we could, work a little skin into the show, I'm all over it.
Hey, she believes in being looking like, she was the first woman to be admitted to the bar of the United States Supreme Court, but she loves to dress like a woman, so she had flowers in her hair,
nice,
lace on her gown, so, I think we can make it work.
Excellent. All right, let's talk offline about that. All right, Janine, this is great. And just so you know, I'm doubting any other interview you do, the host will be able to recite the songs of 1776, so you lucked out today. Your very first.
I did. This is just totally cool.
Your very first post at Big Hollywood today it launches your show to our audience over here in Breitbart Land, and that's thrilling. And hopefully, you'll be able to follow this up with other observations about the entertainment business and the world over at Big Hollywood. It's our favorite blog, of course. And great news for all of our listeners here at Breitbart TV. The show tomorrow on KLIF, Janine's show, will be streaming live right here at Breitbart TV, and we will stream it live at Big Hollywood. And that's going to be at 11 p.m. Eastern. Is that right?
Yes, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central.
Great.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we will do that live stream, and there will be a Janine cam. Is that right?
Yes, there will be, and let's hope it works. It's going to be the first time we've set it up, so cross our fingers.
All right.
Well, I'm crossing my fingers.
I'm sure we'll make it work. And this is the thing, though, Janine. The great thing about doing radio is that you can just sort of show up in sweats and not have any makeup on. But now that they stick that camera there, you're going to have to be camera ready. Are you all set for that?
I know. As a matter of fact, when I showed up for my first show last week, I had on a long black, kind of like lacy skirt and a red shirt, and I had on my red lipstick and everything. And one of the producers looked at me and said, "Janine, it's radio."
Right.
Yeah, I know, but I just gotta have to feel the part.
That's great. All right. Well, this is fantastic. And what is the name of your show, by the way, officially? Is it the Janine Turner Show or?
Yeah, it's very original. It's the Janine Turner Show.
Excellent.
Actually, there's some bylines. You want to hear them because they're kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the Janine Turner Show, American Exposure. And then get the exposure thing, like Northern Exposure.
Sure.
Exposure. Yeah. And then it's Hollywood flair, Washington savvy, American true grit.
That covers the whole country. Very impressive. Very impressive. This is so great. I'm so thrilled for you, and I love the you just obviously you are loving what you're doing, and you've got such a effervescent attitude about all of this, and you're passionate about what you do. It leaps off the page when I read what you write, and it absolutely comes through over the microphone, and that's the key to doing good radio. We have to care and know that you care about what you're saying. So good for you. I'm so excited, and I got to tell you, you're just such a great role model for your daughter. She's such an important age right now, and to see her mom just going out there and doing it and grabbing the world by the horns, it's really impressive. So well done. I'm just honored to have you on the show tonight.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be on the show and to be associated now with everything Breitbart TV, big Hollywood, big this, big everything. Breitbart TV. This is all a great union here, and I'm very excited about it. Thanks for having me on your show tonight.
Of course,
too.
and just so you know, you were right. It is big everything. I mean, just let your imagination run wild, Janine. Big everything. It's terrible.
Okay,
It's terrible.
well.
I know. See, you're a good Christian girl, and I'm being naughty. I'm sorry. All right, that's Janine Turner.